Hello. In my previous video, I talked to you about the game of backgammon and how the game of backgammon is related to free will and predetermination. It means that in the game of backgammon, you have free will and there is predetermination. Free will to move your pieces and predeterminations because we don't know when we roll the dice what is the outcome. Now, unlike backgammon, the game of chess is to do with free will only. It means that if given the circumstance that you are playing with an opponent who is equally skilled as you are, you may win the game or lose the game. But it has more to do with your skill. It has more to do with your free will. So here we are talking about free will. Uh, and now a brief history of back of the game chess. Chess. Um, it goes back to about 2,000 years ago, maybe more or less. And the story is like that. There was a war between two countries, India and Persia. The Persians, they had invented the backgammon and sent it to the Indian king as a will, as a way of negotiation. And the negotiation was about if you manage to come up with a game as equally interesting as backgammon, we'll make a truce, we'll pardon you, and we make peace. So what happened was that the king of India, he assembled all his ministers and asked them for their advice what to do. And so the ministers, they went around and they asked the people, and one person came up with an idea with this game, with the game of chess. And when he made a representation of the game of chess, the king was very impressed because in this game of chess, it is, as I mentioned, purely free will, and there is nothing to do with predetermination. There is no dice being rolled, and there are no chances. It is purely to do with your own skill and knowledge of how to defeat your opponent. So the king was very pleased, and he asked the person who had come up with this idea uh, about chess, and asked him what he wants as a reward. And the person was a simple man, and he said that I want, as you can see on a chessboard, there are 64 squares. There are 64 squares. So on the first square, I want 1 grain of wheat. And the second square, I want it doubled. And the third square, I want it also doubled. So let me make it simple. So in the first square, there was 1 grain. In the second square, there was 2 grains. There were 2 grains. And in the third square, 2 times 2, 4. And in the fourth square, 4 times 4, 16. And fifth square, 16 times 16, and so on. And the king looked at this man and he said, "Are you making fun of me? Are you mocking me? What kind of reward is that? I can give you that very easily." And because the king was feeling mocked, he called the executioner and asked the executioner to behead this man's head and kill him, get rid of him. Suddenly, one of the ministers said, "Hey, wait a minute. Let's see what his real demand is. If we exactly listen and obey his instructions, it means 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 4, 4, 16, 16 times 16, and 6, the result, it goes up exponentially." And when they calculated until it reached square 64, they realized that the outcome is a number greater than the harvest of all the wheat that can be harvested in a country or in the world for thousands of years. So this is the story of chess. Remember, chess is a game that is to do with free will. It's not like backgammon, which is free will plus predetermination. Free will that you play the game and you know where to move your pieces, and predetermination, you don't know when you throw the dice what is the outcome.